Good morning and welcome to the AM News. Now, first story, former President John Dramani Mahama is hopeful that persons found culpable in the Ejura shooting incident will be duly punished. Now, the 2020 presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress says videos captured show security personnel refused to act right. Mr. Mahama believes the failure of the president to punish persons indicted in the commission report on the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election incident is a reason for the recent election-related shootings. He's been speaking at Frante, a suburb of Ejura, where he started his thank you tour of the Ashanti region.
Yeni obi ankahwe papa na yenu anum bi atofom eno na brofo kasemu say impunity breeds more impunity. Impunity breeds criminality and violence. If we say omo yesa no say eye na akofo adode na omo ya onye omo hwe and your friend impunity no. And no any idea be drew her minimum case. Not saying Chibia, a Ejura committee report never back. Na Mempire ne say, Uncle Yeti say, Ayawaso West Wuogon, dear no. Ayawaso West Wuogon, and your mark committee in the kind na bear 60-70% omo bogui. Our man find your she into Winswear Bay, your share near Omo de Bay. Because me the video now me share no. Anka send your Ghana city no. Say enkrofo ya oyechre na emu ya yedinga. Say asrafo na bambo for ba police for na die nim. Na ombe ye no mo entumi a ansa na soldier for di echi no ma besom. Eso me video ya me hui. Police soldier car na die nim e na police for di nechi. Edru wa umuhururia papa na obia edimrika no mo eka omo to ho eto omo nyame fa mu nyina kransie.
Meanwhile, the do-or-die expression by former President Mahama is gradually catching on with the party grassroots. Though criticized by some as a violence-induced statement, NDC supporters in the Ashanti region have accepted it, communicating it through T-shirt inscriptions. The party says the statements will be at the core of campaigning to regain power in the next election. Nana Yaojima followed the president on his first day tour of his thank you tour to the Ashanti region and has more in the following report.
Ilyasu Mustafa alias Kruka has served the National Democratic Congress for over a decade. By dint of hard work, today he is a branch organizer of the Ejura Brigade of the NDC. Kruka, as he is popularly called, is here to get over the 2020 election defeat.
He came here for thank you tours. That's why we are here.
At the Frante Deba grounds, many have gathered to catch a glimpse of the former president who kickstarts his thank you tour to the region here. Ilyasu, who has traveled from Ejura to the small town of Frante, stays behind the crowd in his 2020 campaign shirt. He has added an embroidery which reads, "Do or die," in support of the statement, which is catching on like wildfire.
Do or die, no. The only thing I know, me you to know, me no make us a yabaya jumadin abwa party. Instead of say 2024, Sasibia Embamu, our polling station, and quality center.
At the rally grounds, some party members danced to party's campaign songs, blazing from the public address system in wait of their leader. Some are sporting do or die shirts they printed themselves. This is how these party supporters hope to help the party implement their agenda.
Yes, young people force to see a PM. Sa abato wo yo musisi ye no se ye betena ho mo musisi ye de ebi nsibiem but ye be fi ye ni na ye hwemu yie aba no ye kanya free branch ansa esuro aje se enu na mbamu a ene du anda no aye no kura se bebam me ko fam a me ma mo ti asie se 2024 election no
At at the Frante Palace, where the former president paid a courtesy call on the traditional authority, the statement was endorsed. Nana Jaba II is Eja Sechedumase Kruntihine.
Obia ya di dwumadi ebe ma won so obia dwumadi ahia wonsa no awo se wo hwe na wo ye ne ye na wo ye ma ewie ye jama ewie ye saso wo kan ye bone de ye me de pa ne se wo hu se enye court ana ye be kwa koje ebimbie na mom ya eye wo ni okuo ma no be ma moni ada ho ma hwe ma totom no ma ye.
Meanwhile, the NDC says the statement will form crest of the party's message to win back power in the 2024 election. Samuel Ofosu Ampofo is party chair.
Yeah, there are some Yampani John Dramani Mahama Kano. Me, I'm a party John Tradino. My first stamp, because your pa a friend stamp, and I'm a dear team to say pine. Say no, they're there, and yet to trust them. Now, Yamama, near the hall. Near her said, or being fun, the Teku message is three. No, being fun, the black and white TV in your day, and message I color TV. None near Ghana for penal. You better say you're talking about 2024.
Different interpretations continue to be given to the do or die statement, but NDC sounds resolute in support. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
In the Upper West region, relief has finally come to authorities and pupils of T.I. Ahmadiyya cluster of schools in the Wa municipality. Now, this follows a donation of 200 single-desk furniture to the Ahmadiyya schools by construction firm Usuya Ghana Limited. School authorities say the kind gesture will not only increase the quality of teaching and learning at the school, but enrollment as well. Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The donation of 200 single-desk furniture to T.I. Ahmadiyya cluster of schools by Usuya Ghana Limited came at a time that various schools in the Upper West region are challenged with inadequate furniture. Most basic school pupils in the region sit on broken furniture. Others carry along with them stools from their homes. The rest either sits on the bare floor or squat and bent over the books on the dirty, eroded concrete floors to write. T.I. Ahmadiyya cluster of schools are no exception. What greets you is a stream of broken furniture packed at the back corners of the classrooms. The few furniture available for use at the classrooms are not even and uniformed. Concerned about the furniture deficit at the school, the old students of the school few months ago donated tens of dual decks to the school. Managing Director of road construction firm Usuya Ghana Limited, Alhaji Yusuf Yakubu, buoyed by the motivation of the old boys, came to the rescue of not only the foundation T.I. Ahmadiyya Primary School Block A, but the other streams as well. Donating the 40,000 cedi worth 200 single-desk furniture to the school, representative of Usuya Ghana Limited, Alhaji Sufyan Yakubu, noted that education is the cornerstone to alleviating the poverty quagmire the people are wallowing in, hence the need to focus and support it to remove all impediments on its way. Representative of the Wa Municipal Office of the Ghana Education Service and the manager of the Ahmadiyya Education Unit were grateful to Usuya Ghana Limited for the kind gesture.
We, the education managers, we're always happy when we see things like this. Because it's not surprising. You go around town, Wa Municipal, you see people lying on the bare floor while writing. So if you have somebody who sees this, I'm so happy with it, I want to do away with it, they will have to say thank you very much to Usuya Ghana.
The old boys are struggling actually to help this particular cluster of schools. They are doing their bit, but with the Usuya Ghana giving us this 200 furniture, to go a long way to help this school to raise the standards that the country needed.
Though the furniture is yet to be utilized by the cluster of schools, headmaster of T.I. Ahmadiyya Primary School A, Mohammed Akib, is already talking about the benefit the schools will derive from the donation.
These desks are going to help us, tremendously. Initially, we used to have people coming here with their walls. You don't have any furniture. Where is my ward going to sit? So enrollment is kind of derailing. But with the gesture we are receiving at the moment, we believe that a lot of parents will bring their walls because they'll be assured that when they bring the children, they'll have places to sit and learn comfortably.
Whilst jumping and jubilating over the inadequate furniture challenge being solved, the pupils are not oblivious of other challenges they will want to be fixed.
Our teachers are not having textbooks to teach us in the school. In the classroom, when rain is falling, the rain always passes through the chains and fall in the class. The students cannot learn while it is raining. And the walls are also cracked, and the floors are also cracked. We want them to come and renovate them.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
To help mitigate the impact of climate change, members of the Setanga community in Boku West District of the Upper East region have been planting trees in their community. With the support of World Vision Ghana, the community members have planted thousands of trees, including economic trees from which they can create jobs for themselves. Correspondent Albert Sori reports.
The Upper East region of Ghana experiences some of the worst forms of the impact of climate change every year. From serious drought in the first quarter of the year to delays in the rains for the planting season, which is usually expected to begin in the second quarter, and then to serious floods at the end of the third quarter of the year. Peasant farmers in communities across the region who are classified among the poorest people in the country bear the brunt of this unstable weather pattern. The farmers of Setanga here in the Boku West District are some of them. It would be great to have good weather all the time, so that our animals can have pastures to feed on and our crops will grow well. But this is not the case. When the rains stop, everything quickly dries up, and if you did not get a good harvest as a farmer, you will be faced with hunger. Humanitarian organizations such as World Vision Ghana are stepping in to help mitigate the impact of climate change on communities like Setanga. For nearly 3 years now, World Vision Ghana has supported the farmers here to plant trees through the Regreening Africa project. The aim, not only to help the community cope with the harsh weather of the dry seasons, but also so that they can have economic trees to fall back on for financial gains. Samuel Malu is in charge of humanitarian and emergency affairs at World Vision Ghana.
It's a project that is in collaboration with the EU. This is about the third year of this project. There have been a number of interventions in about other 10 more communities. We know that one of the impact of climate change is about on the drought, and then it's about the excessive temperatures and heats. And one of the key challenges that we have this area is burning. And so we are educating the communities and sensitizing them to stop the bushfire menace, to be able to protect the environment, and this can help them to have very fertile soils.
In addition to educating the farmers on the best ecological practices, World Vision Ghana has supported them with tools and constructed dams in the area to ensure that the trees are catered for all year round. Seth Frimpong is a project manager for the Regreening Africa project.
And so far, we have entered 117 communities in the district. Mainly, any community we go, we select 40 farmers. 20 are trained as lead farmers, and 20 are also trained as fire volunteers.
Now, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce says its partnership with academic institutions in the country is beginning to yield results as the universities are showing signs of graduates with entrepreneurial skills and mindsets. President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, Clement Osei Amoako, is asking the universities to go entrepreneurial as it's the best way to develop the country. Speaking at the opening of the 9th Universities Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development in the Africa Conference at the University of Cape Coast, Mr. Osei Amoako was of the belief that if the skills of the students are properly honed, Ghana would be a huge business hub in Africa. Richard Kojo-Nyako has more in the following report.
The University of Cape Coast was the event venue for the 9th Universities Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development in Africa Conference. Entrepreneurs from some of the country's universities showcased the product of their skills and to sell their ideas for support by the private sector. Speaking at the opening, President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, Clement Osei Amoako, emphasized the need for the universities to develop the skills of students. He says the collaboration between the academia and industries should be toughened to yield the needed results.
We the chamber, seeing that as a gap, saw the need to go in bed with most of the universities and see how we can, bridge the gap. We saw that as university, what they do mostly is to produce for the private sector. And you cannot sit somewhere and produce to the private sector when you don't know their needs. And so we are saying that, look, why don't we come together and put our needs together? We'll let them know what we are looking for, and they will build their capacity for us, and so that we have a better Ghana. So of now, what we have done so far, we've had some MOU with some universities in Ghana. We've done UMAT, we've done KNUST. We are also doing it with UCC. And beyond this, we are also signing an MOU with them. That is to say that we will not just come and have a conference and go and sit back. We need to develop our people into the future. And so when we sign, then it means that we have a responsibility to work towards it, and we're going to do that. We are also looking at a situation where we have junior chambers across the universities, where we'll train them when they are in school, just as the beautiful things that we are seeing, build their capacity. And it's not everybody who wants to leave the university and come and work with the government. A lot of people want to work on their own. We need to sit down with the universities and identify those needs and prepare them for the betterment of this country. And that's, I want to tell you, the chamber is ready to do that. And we've done it with some universities, and we are going to do more about that into the future.
CEO of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kwasi Yanke-Aye, congratulated the University of Cape Coast for their support in enterprise development. She intimated government was doing a lot to support the small and medium-scale enterprises.
We have focused in line with government's vision and the president's vision to transform the economy into a world-class economy, bringing into mind some of the government's flagship programs, such as the One District, One Factory, which involves industry, and also most importantly, academia, because what people are producing, right, is things that would have to be advanced. And to be able to advance that, we need the universities, the research that is being done. And I'm happy to hear about the research that is also being run by the University of Ghana. We've been able to transform a lot of these micro, small, and medium enterprises. And the importance of the MSME sector in Ghana cannot be underestimated.
Provost of the College of Humanities and Legal Studies at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Erica Mokwando, stated the University of Cape Coast was committed to equipping students with skills and financial support to make them self-employed. Richard Kojo-Nyako, JoyNews, Cape Coast.
And that's it for the AM News. We're coming right up. We're delving into the newspapers. Of course, it's with Israel and myself, and it's right after this. Well, hello there and welcome back. If you're just waking up, good morning to you. Good for you if you're just waking up. But how was your weekend? We hope that you stayed safe, and thank you once again for choosing to join us here on the AM show. My name is Enimwa Enimado, and I do this every day of my life with Israel Laye. Yes, I get to say that. But I'm doing this with Israel, who this morning is in a short sleeve shirt and is showing off his abs and his arms and feeling all cool, but it's all good. He will tell you it's because he's going to the market.
Yes.
And so therefore, he has to dress appropriately, but he really just wants to show off, doesn't he?
No, I'm going to the market anymore.
Mm.
Am I not going to the market? Yes. So I can wear a suit and tie and go to the market.
Of course not.
Yes.
Indeed. Anyway, once again, you're welcome. This is the Daily Graphic Review with Israel Lai. So, okay.
It's not a daily. We're bringing you as many of the newspapers as we can. And yes, we're starting with the Daily Graphic, which, because it's the
6:35
National Daily, and it has many pages. I mean, today's Daily Graphic is quite full.
It's very thick, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it will take us some time
Israel.
to go through it.
All right, honey.
Let me check the time.
Whatever you say.
6:36, 6:37. Okay, let's go. So on the front page of the Daily Graphic, $68 million project for UHAS takes off. That's the second phase of infrastructure construction for the University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ho has started, which is good news. So apparently it's going to take 30 months for this to be done, and will pave way for the university to increase the student population from 6,000 to about 10,000. So yes, work is supposed to be starting. But yeah, I mean, in this country, you know that we start many projects, but how to end them and complete them tends to be the problem. Yes. Okay, so inside Africa, Guinea's ousted president in good health. That's ECOWAS saying that. Chad protesters denounce junta. Angola opposition protest, and Tunisia's president to amend constitution. And Iran UN nuclear monitoring deal. Okay. FBI begins declassifying Saudi 9/11 links documents, and Pope warns of anti-Semitism. Then on page 16, Busunu, the Charlie Bridge still inaccessible. And the Busunu to Charlie Bridge that links Busunu and Daboya in the Savannah region remains inaccessible days after the torrential rains in the area. Although the floodwaters from the Tchali River that submerged the bridge have receded, the vehicles still cannot use the bridge because a portion of the road that was washed away has not been fixed. Okay. The residents said they were going through unbearable difficulties and that only a quick response to the appeal to fix the road will save the situation. All right. Help strengthen private universities. That's Professor Omani Entry urging government. And then President announces $139 million water system for Hohoi. Okay, that's good news. The $139 million water supply system is to be constructed for the people of Hohoi municipality to solve the water supply challenges in the area and beyond. That's very good. So we hope that also gets completed so that the people can enjoy potable water. Now, President confirms Ekwame Siedu as Auditor General. So essentially, the acting Auditor General has now been confirmed as a substantive successor to Mr. Daniel Domolovo, who was removed from office in March, asked to take his accumulated leave. All right, you will be responsible to Parliament in the discharge of your duties. That's what he's been told. Police arrest man over murder confession. And then on page 32, graphic needy fund support surgery of distressed boy. Okay, that's good. Use more local materials for projects. Vice President urges contractors. And on page 49 says requirements for registration of industrial vessels to be reviewed. We go to the center spread, and there's a news feature on varicocele, believe. So it's supposed to be silent infertility, the silent infertility battle of men. So it says varicoceles are associated with male infertility because it is associated with the testes, the site for sperm production. Looks like it's a major issue that most people are not paying attention to. I'll read a bit of the story. It says an estimated 40% of men being investigated for infertility have varicocele, a common condition related to decreased sperm production, low quality and less quality of sperm due to increased temperature in the testes or the scrotum. Okay, there's a whole feature in the center spread. Please get it and get to understand what's going on or what it's all about. Then, who is watching our borders? That's actually somebody writing that letter. Oh, it's an opinion piece, sorry. And let's move on to the other stories that we have in the Daily Graphic. And there's quite a bit. I'd have to flip adverts, 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 adverts. Final year SHS students guided on career path. And then 11 recognized as national business honors. And Isaac Osei chairs GPHA board. So the president, Nana Dodon Akufo-Addo, has appointed a former high commissioner to the United Kingdom, Mr. Isaac Osei, as board chairman of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. All right, and 122 in Kwanta North communities now open defecation free, which is good news. And we are committed to prudent management of petroleum resources. That's the vice president saying that. And Opon Nkrumah swears in GPCL board. So the Ministry of Information, Mr. Kojo Opon Nkrumah, has inaugurated a 7-member board for the Ghana Publishing Company Limited. Okay. And on page 68, 2,765 girls in Northern Region drop out of school. All right. So apparently it's according to a study which was to collect data on girls who failed to return to school after the COVID-19 outbreak in order to support in the planning to get them back to school. Let's hope we can get them back to school. 2,765, that's quite a number to be out. And in business, renewable energy sector growth critical. And Deputy Minister opened new Guinness brew house. Traders leave Kumasi Central Market. Ohima Jackie remanded over 150,000 CD alleged fraud. She was slapped with 2 counts of defrauding by false pretense and forgery when she appeared before the court, presided over by Ms. Evelyn Someone. Right, and the other stories that we have in the Daily Graphic. 700 legal practitioners converge on Bolga for annual conference, which we had a conversation with the Ghana Bar Association president about last week. And in graphic sports business, Africa Center to shape up industry. GFA to decide Akuno's fate. And then on the back page, 51 women trained to operate heavy equipment, and businessman hands out infrastructure to Pasa schools. I'm done with the Daily Graphic.
6 minutes. Wow. I'm very rarely speechless, but I must say that I am speechless this morning. Well done, Israel. Okay, so let's move to the Ghanaian Times this morning, shall we? On the front page, whole community SHS abandoned. 24-unit classroom, dormitory blocks, staff bungalow left in the wild. Deep hint of passage of law to promote construction sector. Car Construction wins overall Best General Company Award. And police arrest cop over stolen motorcycle, AK-47 assault rifle in Kintampo. Okay. So the police at Kintampo in the Bono East region have arrested one of their own, Lance Corporal Christian Adeboating, for stealing a motorcycle belonging to the service. Okay. 1 died, 10 injured in accident on Accra Cape Coast Highway. Bono region records 44 deaths in 72 accidents. Ghanaians have been asked to pursue career opportunities within global organizations. And in Nigeria's kidnap zone, letters are replacing phones. So for the last few years, life in rural areas of northwestern Zamfara state has been agonizingly brutish. Gun-toting motorbike gangs have made the state of approximately 15,000 square miles, an area bigger than countries like Burundi, Lesotho, and Rwanda, a haven for wanton killing, rape, and kidnapping for ransom. And what they're also doing is not allowing people to use their phones. So if you want to communicate, then you have to do so by writing letters. So the court has ruled that Mugabe's body can be exhumed. Now remember that there was a debate about where he should be buried, and the court is saying that they are going to allow for his body to be exhumed and reburied at the National Heroes Shrine. So that's what's happening. Deadly Indian plane crash blamed on human error. Now, this was August last year. A plane with 190 people crashed at the Calicut airport in the southern state of Kerala and killed 21 people. They're saying it's due to human error. President must throw his weight behind minister for bold initiative. A Ministry of Interior directs applicants to submit application forms to security services. There's a feature on resolving the medical negligence quagmire in Ghana. Some suggested solutions. So if you're interested, that's on page 9 of the Ghanaian Times. Rapid transformation of Hohoi changed the political narrative. That's on page 11. Mahama says to his people, remain united to win back NDC's lost seats. Now, a 42-year-old man has been jailed 18 months for molesting a minor. And Communications Minister is appealing to young girls to embrace ICT studies. Remember that the gap between young girls and young boys who are more interested or more looking towards ICT is still quite wide. So she's encouraging that women take up more of these roles, which is good. Really, really good. Okay, so the Vice President is hinting of passage of law to promote the construction sector. The NYA held a sensitization workshop on reproductive health for youth leaders. And there's that story about the whole community school which has been abandoned. Also in the middle page of the Ghanaian Times. Okay, now let's skip past all the classifieds and go to CSIR trains 1,500 farmers, extension officers in snail farming. Which is interesting. Transport Minister inaugurates DVLA, but a lot of new boards being inaugurated since about last week. Now, intravenous infusion secures $3.2 billion facility for expansion drive. So local pharmaceutical giant Intravenous Infusions Place has secured a $3.2 billion medium-term loan from Ecobank Ghana Limited under the government's stimulus package to establish a new plant. And that's really good news for producing our own medicines, and I guess we're well on our way to producing the vaccines that we need as well. Okay, shall we do some sports then? Holyfield 58 flawed in comeback. So Evander Holyfield's comeback against Vitor Belfort has been branded a disgrace. A lot of people have said that it was a disgrace. First round, you know, he fell down. He was knocked left hand thingy, and he fell down. He managed to beat the time, so he got up, but he just kind of floundered for the rest of the first round, you know, and he was pummeled and boxed and all of that, and eventually the referee had to, you know, just say, no, I'm not going to let this continue. Now, social media has been saying that, you know, the man is 58. Why would you even fight in the first place? Remember, however, that he was actually filling in for Oscar de la Hoya, who's 48, who pulled out because he had COVID-19. So Evander Holyfield came in to do that. And he hasn't had a boxing match since 2001, which is 20 years. So I'm not sure, you know, what they were expecting to happen from that. But anyway, Ronaldo double sinks Newcastle, Arsenal and City. Oh my God, this is breaking news. Arsenal won a match.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Wonders can still happen. God is still seated on the throne. Not on the Arsenal throne, but yeah. I guess he shows mercy sometimes. More sports stories. Hay returns on winning notes. PSG maintain perfect record. Togas dominate second Goldfields PGA qualifying tournament. 7 bodybuilders to compete in IFBB World Championship. And on the back page, Accra Lions shock hearts. Ooh, I love the sound of that. Accra, oh, somebody's quiet. Accra, let me read the story for you. Newly promoted Ghana Premier League side, Accra Lions, shocked Accra Hasselfolk with a 3-2 win in a friendly match played at the Accra Sports Stadium yesterday.
It's a friendly.
So it's still a loss.
No, I mean, it's a training.
It's
match.
Still a loss.
It doesn't count.
It's still a loss.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't count for whom?
It doesn't count because it's not the Ghana Premier League where you're getting points for. That's what I mean.
It counts in the newspaper on the back page. It totally counts. Accra Lions, Shock Hearts, and Friendly Game. End of my review. Thank you very much.
How many minutes?
7. I learned from the best. I learned from you.
Let's get on with the new crusading guide. Okay, on the front page, chaos in Adan over leaked MMDC report, and I read a bit of the story. So it says tension is gradually brewing in Big Adan, with the youth threatening to stage a massive demonstration over an alleged leaked MMDC report, in which it is believed that the acting district chief executive has been recommended by the Dan Botwe-chaired committee to the president to be renominated for the second term as DC for Adan East District. Okay, so that's why there's that tension there. And then we move to page 6. Serving on public boards should be seen as responsibility than a reward. That's Professor Ade saying that. And closely related to that, there's a story where the transport minister is saying, cooperate or I'll recommend your removal. And he was speaking with the GMA and GSA Board of Directors. That's the Ghana Maritime Authority and Ghana Shippers Authority. So the story reads, the Minister of Transport, Honorable Kweku Ofori-Siama, has told Board of Directors of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Ghana Shippers Authority, DVLA, and the National Road Safety Authority to cooperate with the ministry in order to achieve its objectives. According to him, he will not hesitate to recommend to the president for the removal of any board member who exhibits gross indiscipline and therefore does not cooperate with the ministry. When I hear stuff like that, what goes through my mind is, could it be that the ministry wants to do something, or the minister wants to have his way with a certain initiative, and the boards are also insisting or standing their ground and saying, no, we're not going to allow that because we're supposed to superintend over the activities and you can't railroad and have your way. But yes, the boards are supposed to work independently in the interest of these organizations and institutions. And, well, let's see how that goes. So ignore Mohammed's food shortage lights. That's the Agric Minister saying that. And the story is on page 10. That'll be it for
the new crusading guide. Okay, I'm going to jump straight into the daily guide. MPP embarks on mass registration. First Sky awarded Isikuma Have road project. Mahama is a disaster. Nana Jabs Baumia taunts. Okay, people. Core construction awarded for efforts, and police pick up self-confessed killer taxi driver. President cuts sword for phase 2 UHAS expansion. I'm just going to go straight into the international page. ECOWAS envoys meet Guinea coup leaders, say Condé in good health. Chad protesters denounce the junta. Haiti MP asked to testify in assassination hearing. And FBI declassifies documents on Saudis and 9/11. Now, September 11th was Saturday. It was Saturday, right, Israel? Yeah, it was Saturday. So, of course, brings back a lot of memories, you know, especially for Americans. And it was a horrible day. I can imagine so many stories, you know, that were told. Even on Saturday on social media, so many people were recounting what that day had been like. There was a woman who was recounting how her husband had left a message on her voicemail and said, you know, baby, I don't think I'm going to make it, so take care of my parents. And, you know, I love you. I'll see you when you get here. So tough day, you know. Remember all those who lost their lives on that day. Okay, middle page. Ghana misses out on 2021 BET Hip Hop Award nominations. Roland K. Ofori wins Marketing Personality at National Business Honors 2021. Salinko and wife celebrates 4th wedding anniversary. Okay, congratulations. There, Henry Korte supports drowned girl's family. 2 arrested for assaulting cop MCE. Kwesi Ansu Treme has written a piece, Do Die 2024, My Beef. That's on page 12. Ghana Gospel Music Awards USA is ready to roll. And on the back page, Arsenal win at last. Kotoko board member drags Kwame Chase Lies FM to court. Ruthless Ronaldo did not disappoint. And then Sawam gets 3 AstroTurfs. That's it for the Daily Guide.
Okay, let's go to the Chronicle. Akufo-Addo hits back at Mahama. I'm sorry, you can't teach me economics.
All right, Akufo-Addo.
Okay, and then also, MPP embarks on mass membership registration. Government increases domestic fish production. And Pram gates to police. Give us armed escort to Dodoa. So the heads of the 3 royal gates in Pram have petitioned the police hierarchy to provide them with adequate security to and from the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs Dodoa, where they are scheduled for the hearing of a petition against the legality of Mr. Kwakupon Parker, a claimant to the Pram paramountcy. And also, in the Chronicle, we have that story about the NLA to register unlicensed lotto operators. It's also here. And DVLA gets new governing board. And so in the center spread, there's the 2020 MMDC vetting committee reports. So you can get in there and get to read for yourself why some people have been appointed or nominated. Okay, R. Kelly's 8th accuser claims she was locked up with no food or water for days. And Balenciaga garments under fire for racist sweatpants design. There's quite a number of stories there in the Chronicle. And Baumia's digitization policy creating digital and technology entrepreneurs. That's Razak Kojo Poku, founder and president of CVM. Okay, and government committed to improving literacy to overcome learning poverty. That's Deputy Minister of Education in Team Fojo. And on the back page, lots of sports stories. Devils Ronaldo scores twice on his return to Man U. Lukaku's brace helps Chelsea win over Aston Villa. So Ronaldo scored 2. Lukaku also scored 2. Okay,
it's 6:57. Let's go to myjoyonline.com and check out some online stories. There, okay, the headlines: police arrest Reverend Owusu Bempa and others for allegedly issuing threats, brandishing weapons, and attacking its officers. So that story came out yesterday evening, that Reverend Owusu Bempa and 3 others had been arrested. Apparently, there was a video going round where he had been threatening some people. I have the statement here, and it says that the suspects are being detained for further investigation over the creation and circulation of multiple videos containing threats, the brandishing of a weapon, and the assault of some police personnel. Now, the suspects are currently in custody and will appear before court today, Monday, September 13, 2021. So that's it for that story. Other stories on My Joy Online would include six-year-old girl dies after slipping into Mamobi gutter during downpour. Oh, that's devastating. We can't prevent fish kills, only God can. That's according to Howard Kumson. Massive turnout at first mini clinic of 2021 JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair. And we'll be telling you more about that. I mean, if you missed it, we have 2 more. So you can catch up and, see what's happening. Okay, patrons ask for extension as first JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair 2021 mini clinic ends. Ghana is not world's 2nd highest porn watching country.
Yes.
It's a live fact checks.
Yeah.
How did you fact check this?
Yeah, because I went to Pornhub, Pornhub.com to find out which country is the highest porn watching or watches porn up the most.
And?
It's the US.
Followed by?
Followed by Japan.
And where is Ghana in there?
Ghana doesn't even feature in the top 20. But the story was going around.
Yes.
That they said Ghana second after Nigeria and all that. So it turns out it's not true. So these are 2019 figures. So Pornhub did 2019 year in review. And Ghana is nowhere. Because I was saying that, look, the internet that we need, the amount of internet that we need to get anywhere close to you, we don't have it. So it's not possible that we could be. So that's the reason I actually went in there to research. Because I saw it, I was like, no. You're just saying stuff about Ghana that's not true.
Okay.
And that's
I'm just glad you made it safely back.
I didn't have to go anywhere.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, some of the stories that tend to make the round, you know, they don't make sense.
Are not true. Okay, Israel. Wow.
Okay. And why? So where Ghana features is when they come to people who are searching for what the Pornhub says is big and beautiful women, BBW. So Ghana is second. Ghanaians who patronize, or people in Ghana who patronize Pornhub are more interested in big and beautiful women.
Okay.
Like anymore.
It's a lie for you. I mean, he's just doing the most, serving his nation for God and country. And researching Pornhub. Okay. Anyways,
I'm that patriotic.
You're that patriotic. Don't we just love you? So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Oreku Amfafo brings us some sports, and of course the show continues, as well as going off to the market. Not to tempt the market women, but actually to tell us what's happening with food prices, because we know that
He's going to fact check the
food prices.
Yeah.
Oh God, okay. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Before we wrap up, let's just go to the Boss Game Show, and we were treated to yet another exciting competition on the event over the weekend as Issa won himself 4,200 Ghana cedis after beating the boss in a sudden death situation. Let's take a look at an excerpt of the show.
Wow, what excitement. The Boss 3, Issa 3, that is the final. But now, as is a tie, we go to sudden death. That's what's happening now. Very exciting. What a climax. The FA Cup, yes, interesting. The Premiership should have been first, but it's the FA Cup for some strange reason. The season must have ended after the FA Cup. Let's go now for the sudden death. And again, Issa, you go first, and this is your first question. If 16 teams take part in a tournament, how many matches will be played across the whole tournament? 16 teams.
32 matches.
32 matches. The accountant says it's 32. It's right. Issa is on his game tonight. We have a real battle. The Boss. Which player scored all 4 of Arsenal's goals in the epic 4-4 draw with Liverpool in 2009? One player, 4 goals. 2009, Liverpool, Arsenal. And the atmosphere here is absolutely tense as the Boss thinks through his library, his wealth of knowledge to get this. It's one of those questions that is hanging, if you can recollect.
Dennis Beckham?
Dennis Beckham, is it correct? To keep it in the tie,
Andre Ashton.
And Issa, congratulations. Wow. And a standing ovation. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah, Unbelievable.
Beckham left before 2009.
Yep, there's a standing ovation for Issa. You fought right to the end.
Yeah.
Wow. Issa's fans and his teammates are delirious. They cannot believe it. He's being consistent. Remember at the beginning, he said he's here for the fun. The money is the bonus. Well, he's had fun. He's got the bonus. And he took the Boss right to the tie break, the penalty shootout. Well exhausted here. It's been a fantastic... You've won 4,200 Ghana cedis.
The Boss Game Show is on this and every Saturday on the Joy Prime channel at 8 p.m. It also shows on DSTV channel 281 and then GoTV channel 180. You can also participate at home by dialing *718 *882#. That's *718 *882# on MTN, Vodafone, or Airtel Tigo. Or on Gmoney, you can dial *422#, select 4, and then select 6, and then you do follow the prompt. Buy your entries at 2 Ghana cedis to qualify to participate. The higher your entries, the better your chances. You can also win electronic goods such as TV sets, home theaters, etc. when you buy entries, as well as come to the show to contest the bot for a part of 250,000 Ghana cedis. Remember, you can get more sports stories on myjoyonline.com, and also follow us on social media at @ChoiceSportsGH. But before we go, a reminder that Daniil Medvedev won his first ever Grand Slam after beating Novak Djokovic in the final of the US Open. An opportunity missed there for a calendar slam for the Serbian. My name is Oriri Kwampofo, and that's how we wrap up the sport here.
Welcome back. So we're getting into our first conversation, and a lot has been said about prices of foodstuffs spiking in recent weeks. It's actually not news that the prices will go up, as they always do. It's the rate of increase which tends to alarm people as they wonder how they will survive on their income, which has always suffered, because our incomes don't really go up, do they? The rate of increase in prices has been confirmed by the inflation rate, which has attributed recent increases to foodstuff prices going up. What the inflation rate of 9.7% for August won't tell you, though, is how this will affect the price of your kinky or other staples. Now, I had a bit of a shock this weekend because I went to the market with my budget, because I know all the prices, and I had my 400 cedis and I had my full list: tomatoes, chicken, green pepper, and I thought I was sorted out for the week until I started to buy stuff, and then I realized, tomatoes had gone up from about 22 cedis a bucket to about 35 cedis a bucket. Broilers had gone up from about 45 cedis for live chicken to about 62. Layers had gone up. That's the hard chicken that we used to make soup for. That one had gone up as well to about 37, almost 40 cedis, also from about 28, 30. And so my 400 cedis, which I took, it didn't get anywhere. I wasn't actually able to buy half of the things on my list, which included, of course, rice, oil, batushito, ginger, garlic. All those little things have gone up. And so when you go to the market with the same amount of money that you usually would, you can't buy the things that you want to buy. But we wanted to confirm that this is definitely a trend that's running across all markets, and not just the markets on my side of town or on your side of town. So we sent Israel out this morning. So he's gone to Malamata Market, and he's going to have a conversation with some of the market women to find out about the prices going up and why the prices are going up, and why the difference is so much, because it's so much. I used to buy Cerelac for 13, 14 cedis, the maize Cerelac, the one with milk, which we chew, no, I don't add water. And I had to buy it at the weekend for almost 21 cedis. That's almost 6 cedis just on a tin of Cerelac. So it's very difficult at this point. Anyway, I have Anthony Morrison. He's the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness, joining us this morning on Zoom. And perhaps he can help us to understand what's happening that's making all these prices go up. Good morning, sir.
And a very good morning to your viewers.
Thank you for giving us your time this morning. So have you noticed that prices have gone up?
Yes, the Chamber has been following the development since last year. 2 months to the election, we noticed that prices of foodstuffs have started taking some upward increase. And we alerted various stakeholders to be concerned about the emerging stories. There were a number of factors that account for this current situation. But as the conversation goes on, I'm sure we can look deep into some of these indicators.
No, I mean, we can definitely just dive straight into them, because the question on everybody's mind is, obviously we expect that there would be some sort of, hikes. Fuel prices have gone up, the dollar is not doing that well, the pound is massive, almost 8 cedis, to a pound. So obviously you're expecting that, some of these prices will go up, but it's how much the difference is. Could you want to just share with us some of the reasons why this is happening?
Yes, certainly. When the COVID came in, and we had to go into a lockdown, there were some panic buying. At that time, we saw more than 60% increase in most of the commodities, from garri to maize to rice, sugar. Everything went up almost by over 60%. Now, after the COVID, after seeing such upward increase in prices, sometimes it takes some time for the price to stabilize. At that time, the chamber knew that it was going to happen. We called on government to institute some form of mitigations to cushion buyers and consumers, but that wasn't done because we could have used buffer stock to do that. Now, moving forward, in May this year, we saw earlier on around January that prices of maize have started picking up tremendously from 58 cedis per 50 kg to 80 thereabout, 80 cedis for the same 50 kg. Wow. Now, some of these things that accounted for it at that time was that as a country, first of all, we failed to put in.
Okay, I think there's an issue with the sound on Anthony's Zoom. Okay.
At that time, we failed to put in a national food security pandemic strategy, which the chamber called for at that time. Now, if we have done that, we would have prioritized the major commodity areas, provide the absolute food banks in strategic central locations to caution for this. But at that time, the hotels have gone down. They were not operating. So those who did vegetables, those who did, or those who are into poultry, those who are into fruit, they all lost because majority of them do supply to the hotels. And we also remember that the schools also were closed down. So there were a lot of losses on the side of the producers. Now, when the COVID protocols were kind of reduced, these farmers have to go back and produce the same thing. If you do remember, your own Odilia Fori was in Ashanti region, where over 1 million worth of eggs were virtually destroyed because they've gone bad, and that was a loss. It takes almost 57 pesos to feed one bird a day, and if you should feed a bird for several weeks, and at the end of the day, you will not be able to sell your produce, is bad. Now, some of the indicators that we've seen, first of all, COVID on the international scene, we saw prices of imported produce jumping the cost of container that used to be $11,000, jumping from $11,000 to almost $23,000 per container. That is over 1,000% increase. And you expect that farmers who uses most of these inputs, fertilizers, agrochemicals, the machinery, the seeds, then on the side of the poultry farmers, they use a lot of vitamin. These are the additives that we call them. So you have the lysine, the methionine.
Okay, I think we're having a bit of an...
So the increase in the importation of some of this had impact on productivity. And let's also not forget that we saw...
Okay, so I'm going to move to Charles Nyaba whilst we try to sort out the delay issues with Anthony's Zoom. So Charles Nyaba is the head of programs and advocacy, Peasant Farmers Association. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
Hi, thank you for giving us your time this morning. So I'm talking to Anthony from the Chamber of Agriculture, and he's saying that, for example, I think he mentioned maize has gone up from about 58 cedis per 50 kilogram bag to about 80 cedis for that same 50 kilogram bag. What's going on? What's really going on?
Thank you. Let me say good morning to everybody. Let me also greet my friend Anthony. I think I agree with him in almost all the points that he listed. You know, when the COVID set in, we came up clearly that if care is not taken, we are likely to have issues with food security in this year. Actually, we made a proposal to the ministry that the kind of COVID interventions that were given to other sectors, farmers were left out. And we think that the food security issues are things that we need to prioritize. For instance, monies were made available for SMEs to cushion them to remain in business. Farmers were classified under that same category. I personally tried to participate for farmers to get, but they were constrained because they got to a point they need to present some documentation like their team numbers, business registration. And if you look at those farmers that supply majority of the food we eat, about 80% of them are smallholder farmers. Whose business are informal. So those informal sector are just the large and the medium scale farmers who are able to register their business. So most farmers were actually left out of that. Last year, when the COVID set in, there were a whole lot of obstacles, of which I heard my friend actually give detail. Delay in shipments and what have you. So access to those farm inputs that were needed, like agrochemicals, like machinery, that were needed for farming activities was actually a serious issue. So it actually affected farming in last year. Apart from this man-made issue, there were also natural factors. Because last year there was drought everywhere. And then in northern part of the country, around 27th August to 7th September last year, there was serious flooding. So all that contributed to availability of food in the system. Now, apart from what has actually affected the Kenyan agriculture sector, last year there were influx of people from Nigeria, Burkina, and Niger, who also came to buy the small quantities that we have. But my concern last year was that while this was happening, and then we drew government attention to actually look at the issues, the National Food Buffer Stock came out clearly to let all of us understand that there was no cause for alarm and that they have enough stock that will be released during the rain season to cater for the shortage. When I knew, I couldn't actually locate any of the buffer stock that they were talking about. So when we went to tell them, they said, oh, they know what they are talking about. So I was surprised that things were getting wet, poultry farmers were complaining. Yet those buffer stocks were not actually released into the market. The same thing we are experiencing this year. When you take this year, I'm currently on the same. We started most of the maize growing areas in the southern part of the country and then the middle belt. If I say southern part of the country, I refer to Afram Plains. Middle belt, we refer to places like Timan and Kwanza, Winchi. You go to Ejra. All those areas, by now, these have been harvesting in previous years. By now, they're even looking for people to buy their maize, and they are not getting. But this year, the rain didn't favor them. When they planted, there was serious drought, and most of the crops wilted off. So you go to those markets and you realize that the price of the size 5 of maize is still around 3.5 Ghana cedis, around this time, when we are supposed to be recording the bumper harvest. My experience in northern part of the country is that at the beginning there was drought, but it wasn't that long. Then the rain came, so it was a bit stable. And then I think the crops were initially looking good. But what happened is that we were all hoping that the promise government gave us on the Planting for Food and Jobs to supply subsidized fertilizer was going to come. Along the line, fertilizer companies refused to supply. I made a follow-up to most of them, and they said they would not supply. I think this time around, they were bold enough to tell government that they won't supply if government fails to pay them for what they supplied last year. Apart from that, the price government is asking them to supply under the subsidy is far lower compared to world prices of fertilizer. Because of COVID, it has affected production. So usually you know that when the demand is higher than supply, price will go high. So most of the countries that manufacture this fertilizer prefer to sell to countries like Asia and other places than to Africa. So our companies actually struggle to get fertilizer. So during the time that we need a fertilizer for first application, it wasn't available. Now, when it was time for top dressing, where we need urea and other things, no company is able to supply any urea under the planting for food and job. So you come to the field and most of the crops are looking yellow as we speak. So if you put these factors together, I think we need to be prepared ourselves. I don't foresee the yield being better this year than last year.
Okay, so I guess, Charles, what you're saying is that, in short, it's an issue of productivity. We don't have enough, we haven't produced enough, and so there's a little bit of maybe scarcity, or there's not as much, therefore the prices are going up because demand is high.
Sure, it's just a simple demand and supply question. Anytime demand is higher than supply, price will go high. And you see, one thing we are not realizing is that while cost of living, everything is going high, people expect farmers, the little that they get, to sell it at a lower price or stable price. No, it doesn't work like that. Last year, I bought a bag, open market fertilizer, for 120 Ghana cedis. Today, the same bag you go and you are buying it at 230 Ghana cedis. Agrochemicals that we used to buy for 12 cedis last year, this time when we are buying for 25 cedis per liter. Tractor services. Last year, we were getting tractor service around 75, 80 Ghana cedis per acre. Today, we are getting it around 150, 160 Ghana cedis per acre. So if a farmer will have to double the cost of production, and that farmer will still have to go and compete with any other person in the market to buy basic food items, like other things, and then pay school fees and do other things that prices are high. When that farmer produces, it means that you have to factor in the cost of production, increasing cost of production. And that will be paid by the consumer. You understand? So apart from the cost of production itself, there are many people who are pull out because they are not able to meet that cost of production. And all that will influence supply. So at the end of the day, the demand will surely be higher than supply. So we also have to adjust our prices so that we'll be able to cope with the increasing cost of living in other areas.
Okay.
And personally on the field, I am farming. The same acre that I used X amount to produce last year, this year I have to do 2X. You understand? I have to double the cost. So when I harvest the same quantity or less, I also expect to sell it twice the price to be able to meet my cost of production.
Of course.
And that's exactly what is happening.
Okay.
So we think that we actually need to sit on the same table, all stakeholders, including government, to agree that these problems exist. Our worry is that it is always easier for government to downplay this when they come up, trying to paint a picture for all of us to have the hope that things are okay. When in reality, the ground is not like that. And that's where we continue to have this problem. The if government agree and admit that these issues are there, so let's sit together and see where we can put investment to help address the issue. I think we won't be at where we are. And if you don't still listen, next year is going to be worse than it is. Now, let me give you one typical example that we all need to be at the watch out. I have some tracks of a sorghum in the Burkina. Sometimes we take some for our supplies here. Burkina Faso, as we speak, have tightened their borders. Even bringing the food out is not possible. So it means that the little food, sometimes, vegetables like tomatoes and other things, in recent time, we get them from Burkina Faso. And now they're tightened their border that they are not going to allow anything to flow into Ghana. So it means that what we always import to support our industry is going to be a problem. So we need to watch out for all those things. And then we also find a way of tightening our borders so that the small one that we produce, we don't allow other foreigners to come and take it and leave us.
Right. Wow, that sounds like quite a mixture of different issues at play here. Very disturbing about the fact that some of the things that we import, like tomatoes and sorghum, if the borders are being tightened by Burkina Faso, for example, then obviously, there'll be a lot more demand than there is supply. But let me move on and talk to Edward Karua. He's the General Secretary for the General Agric Workers Union. Good morning, and thank you for joining our conversation. Hello, Edward.
Yeah, I'm listening. Good morning.
Okay, hi. So, I mean, I'm sure you've heard what Charles had to say about the different things that are affecting the food prices, mainly the fact that demand is higher than supply. What are your thoughts on why food prices are going up and why they're going up at such, a massive, they're going up at such a massive rate?
Yeah, I think Charles has laid clearly the reasons why food prices are going up, and that whole system, what we say is not what is on the ground. I think that is my problem here. So Charles has laid out all the factors, and it is, I don't know what are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm saying that it is when we accept the reality on the ground that we can actually adopt appropriate solutions for them. The ministry itself seems to be, Minister of Agriculture, seems to be agreeing that there are real challenges on the ground. But when it comes to the way forward, they say, no, there are no problems. We are expecting a bumper harvest. That is my biggest worry. But what is happening is a culmination of policy challenges. In other words, I can say the policy failure. Because policy, you can measure policy by the outcomes and not by the theory itself. So this is a program that is supposed to produce enough food. How do we know that it is producing enough food? Okay, figures come out that maize has gone up by so much, over 100%, it has doubled. But when you go to the market, you don't find it. So it is a good point to let us go back and check our figures and see what is actually wrong. And the practicality is that there's no fertilizer, even where it is, it came in late, all these challenges. And if you go back to officialdom, if you go to a graphic front page report, which was on the 16th July, and then earlier, the same month, they said that the plan for food and jobs is.
Okay, so we're having, I think Edward is having some data issues. So it's a bit slow. We'll try to reconnect so that we can talk to him about that. But we'd love to hear from you as well. What's your shopping been like? How's your the money that you're spending, has it gone up? Are you spending a lot more for the things that you used to spend on? How much is chicken costing you now, or meat, or tomatoes, or onions? And how is that affecting your way of life? We'd love to hear from you. This show is live and interactive, of course, on all the social media platforms. So drop us a message on our Facebook. We'll put up a post asking you, and you can answer. And then, we can have that conversation with you as well. But let me go back to Anthony Morrison, who's the CEO for the Chamber of Agribusiness. Anthony, are you there?
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So, I mean, we've spoken to Charles, and we've gotten an idea of what's going on, and all of that. But does it look like there's any light at the end of the tunnel? I mean, is it going to get better? Or like Charles said, they're not expecting a greater yield this year than last year. And so demand will still be higher than supply. So are we looking forward to another year of, prices going up and there not being enough? So we're having to pay more for our food?
Yes, unfortunately, the situation will be quite worse this year for this variable of reasons. First of all, because the fertilizers came late, in most of the commercial farms' productivity, seeds or maize are planted at the same time, and the fertilizers are applied at the same time. So at the time of they did their production, they had minimum quantity of fertilizer. So they only planted almost about 30% of what they should have done or they normally do. Now, as it stands now, majority of the commercial farms that we know have only done just about 48 to 52% of their acreage available to them. That implies that over almost 40 to 45% of acres have not been cultivated this year. Now, another reason is that when the fertilizers came late and they were applied, the floods came in, especially in Upper West and Upper East. And some of the fertilizers, over 30%, have been washed away. So if you go to some of the farming areas, you see the leaves of most of the crops turning yellow. So that tells you that there is an inadequate supply of some nutrients or components and combinations of fertilizers. Now, going forward, we are seeing, just as Charles have said, states and countries taking protectionism for their food. So Burkina Faso is doing the same. We've seen on the international scene, Brazil and Argentina have begun to reduce the quantity of food that should be exported out of their country. So maize and rice and all this will be affected. So it is time as a country we begin to take strategic effort. I'm just being elected that the prices of maize for the same 50 kg is being sold at 150 cedis. Okay? So we have a lot to do. This year, actually, prices are going to shoot up. And for early part of next year, we're going to have challenges with our food systems. So we'll need to import quite more. What government needs to do is to make sure that when this year's produce are ready, we provide a mop-up strategy so that we can store enough food across the country. There shouldn't be any allowance for export of any food. If for any reason someone needs to export food out of the country, that must come with approval from the ministry. And the reasons must be given. I'm saying this because some of the challenges we are having with the increase in food prices is because people have hoarded food. If you go to the borderlines, okay, in the northern regions, in the BA area, in the Volta area, you've seen a number of warehouses that have sprung up. Food stuffs were taken out of the country arbitrarily without any permission. We do not have any security system. Nobody is being stopped. Why are you taking this food out of this country? Who has signed for it? Who has permitted you? And these foodstuffs have been stored in those border towns, and they are now being imported back into the country and be sold to us at a very high prices. So we need to take some such measures to curb any export of food items out of this country. Now, the other areas we need to look at is our vegetables. We quite import over $150 million worth of tomatoes from Burkina Faso. If Burkina Faso are not allowing us to have some of these things, what mitigations are we going to put in place for us to have vegetables produced? We have the greenhouses. Are we going to support the greenhouse producers to increase productivity? Now, we have a number of irrigation sites. Maybe it is time government looked at giving them to private sector. And it is also time for government to private sector to come into the industry and support. Now, the poultry farmers, we know a number of poultry farms have closed down as a result of the increase in the veterinary drugs, increase in the additives that I spoke about, and substantially the increase in maize, which constitutes over 70% of the feed that they produce. So we were told that there were going to be some imports of maize to support the poultry farmers. We are not seeing this as we speak. So some of these poultry farmers are closing down. They are selling off their pullets. Some are selling off their laying beds, which we think it doesn't augur well for the industry. The poultry industry is the biggest employer in the agriculture food value chain. So we need to protect that industry so well. We import well over 1.2 billion worth of frozen chicken annually. And we think that that could be invested easily in the country. We produce enough, we employ, and we pay a lot of taxes. Moving forward from that side, what is government's own strategy to addressing this food challenge? We have issues of climate change. We have issues of food items going all over the place, the prices. We have issues of post-harvest losses. As we speak, some of the rice harvesters, rice farmers who have harvested their produce on the farm, they've seen some seeds that are, some rice that are regerminating. This is because there is a lot of rainfall, so they are not able to dry their produce early.
Okay.
So we are beginning to see post-harvest losses, not only in maize, but also in rice and other cereals and grains.
Okay, Anthony, so what we want to do is that we want to go to Malamata Market so that we can really get a look at what's happening there this morning. And Israel is over there right now. Israel, if you can hear me, over to you.
All right, so the Malamata Market is the usual suspect when we want to survey prices of foodstuffs because of its proximity to Joy FM. It's not too far from Joy FM, so we take a drive and then we just come to and get to ask and find out what the prices are looking like, because there's been a lot of talk about the fact that prices keep going up and are escalating. So we're here to actually find out. Indeed, if you look at the inflation figures, the inflation figure for August says 9.7. Now, what the 9.7, as I was indicating earlier, doesn't tell you is how the prices have moved for the various or the specific commodities. We're going to find out. And so I have come across a couple who have come here to do their shopping, their regular shopping. And what we're going to do is we're going to be speaking with them and we're going to walk with them as they go through the market to get to do their regular shopping. So you come, let's get to meet them. So this is Abigail and that's the husband. They come to shop together. That's romantic, isn't it? So yeah, nice to meet you, Abigail. Abigail, are you going to give me your full name?
Oforiwa Abigail.
Oforiwa Abigail. What's your surname?
It's Oforiwa.
How can Oforiwa be your surname? Okay, so what's your name?
Solomon Yabua.
Solomon Yabua. And if that's your wife, then she's Abigail Yabua, or?
Yeah, so Mrs. Yabua.
Mrs. Yabua. Why are you hiding the Yabua? Okay, so I can see that you've come to buy. Have you bought the palm nut already?
I'm yet to buy.
Okay. So Abigail is coming to buy palm nut, which means that there's some abenkwang on the way.
Yeah, as you can see.
Okay. How regularly do you come to the market?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So you buy enough to last you 2 weeks?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you go ahead and you buy your palm nut.
Yeah. What shop, mommy? I don't know why. Me told you
yeah.
Okay. Now it's so. Anna, baby, I'm yan.
I'm saying so near to me. I've been. Hey, you so tall. I've been. This is come baby,
baby, I'm yan. From me.
Okay, so it's 8 CDs now, but how much was it being sold previously?
It was 5 CDs.
How long ago?
Oh, a month ago.
Okay, so in this case, she's explaining that it has to do because it's raining.
Yeah.
What does the rain have to do with the shortage of abenkwang?
So to offer ba owo wan hwe obeka nti so bia to a onko afum makoma ko na etimi konu aben emiti na ma aben
so to na ma aben why.
Okay, so the explanation is that when it's raining, they typically wouldn't climb to harvest the palm nut because they're saying that it's there may be snakes on the palm nut tree. So that's why you tend to get this experience where the palm nut or the price of palm nut will go up when it's raining. So, all right, so let's get the palm nut and we can get the other ingredients that will be required to make the abenkwang today. So, you're Mr. Yabua, you want abenkwang and what?
And at times ghost meat.
Okay, but what's the soup going to go with?
It's going to fufu.
Oh, okay. So, is that what you're having for lunch?
Yes, yes, that's what we are having for now.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so yeah, maybe when we're done with the show and we've signed off, now I can follow Mr. Yeboah, Mr. and Mrs. Yeboah to the house, see if I can get some abenkwang as well.
I showed you.
Okay, so they're just about done with the abenkwang. Okay, so as it is, there's going to be quite a bit of load. So how are you going to manage that?
We will have the carrier to help us.
Okay. So typically, when the ladies, and in fact, when everybody else come to the market, in fact, when I walked in, I had people, the kaya coming my way and asking me, do I need a head porter? And I told them, no, I don't. But apparently, Abigail, but it's typical when people come to the market and you're coming to buy quite a bit, then you need a head porter who will be carrying it as you go through. Okay, so where are we going to next?
We are going in for a ripe plantain and a green one.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right, so let's follow Abigail and Mr. and Mrs. Yeboah as they go in there to go and get some ripe plantain. And they would also buy some green plantain as well. But yes, if you're joining us, we're at the Malamata Market where we're coming to shop for foodstuffs. And I'm with Mr. and Mrs. Yeboah, Abigail. And then we also have our head porter who's following us. It's all in a bit to get to understand what the situation is like with food prices, to see if it's true that food prices have gone up in recent times and by how much. So that way, if Mr. Yeboah is sitting back in the house and it's only Abigail who comes, and Mr. Yeboah is wondering that, well, but in fact, let me find out from Mr. Yeboah. No, you, Abigail, you take the lead. You take the Mr. Yeboah, why are you following your wife to the market?
Because this time around, the money have been given her. When you came back, you said, oh, Solo, the money is not enough, so you have to add up. So today I decided to follow her and see how the reason why.
So what? You think that your wife is following you, Chobo?
I think so.
Oh, Abigail. Why would you think that your wife is, following you, Chobo?
The price has gone up too much. It's too much. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it's like you don't trust your wife.
No, it's not that I don't trust my wife. It's not that I don't trust her.
So why are you following her to come and find out the prices?
I want to be sure. I want to be sure.
Okay, let's buy some plantain.
Good morning. You better call. Oh, body and Kasan so. PDM brain the abre. But the abre is saying, what to say? Better 10 cities.
So obviously the plantain seller is not very excited that I'm poking a microphone in her face. She's not interested. But madam, a free BB customer service. Into here I know Asria my kakra. Why? Yeah. You're sorry. So okay, so she's saying that I should have alerted her before, but this is a moving camera. We're moving with Abigail, and so wherever Abigail goes, that's where we go. So I apologize. Mr. Why? But you're saying? Oh, maybe Saudi man. Just have the camera and the tool, so maybe Saudi keke. She's wondering why I'm asking for her name. Okay.
4 pieces.
Now they are bringing so far 10 cities. And Stephen said the green one, you been there a kitaka and your 10 cities. But my share no.
4 pieces. Wow.
But wouldn't you ask for a reduction?
Yeah, reduction, yeah.
When she's done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you prefer to put it all together before you ask for the reduction?
When I want to see the differences between them.
So we're told that the 4 fingers, as you have it, that's 10 cedis. Okay. But how much were you buying it previously? Oh, in fact, hold on, don't say it, because if you say it, it would be difficult for you to bag it.
Yes.
So let's just hold on when she puts it all together, and then we can get to see how that goes. Okay.
I don't think it's one. No, I hear 10 cedis, and I know we're in 5 cedis. Semper 5 cedis, sir.
Okay, so she says she's not excited that the way she's going about it. Okay, why don't you just say you're buying 10 cedis? Just get your 10 cedis and...
Mommy 10 cedis, then I inquire.
Because we don't want to piss her off any further.
Yeah. She isn't happy about it.
She's not happy about it, and rightfully so. She's saying that we should have told her that we're going to have a conversation like this with her. But this is real time, and so I've apologized for her that we couldn't have done it the way we should have typically done it. All right, so she's getting a polythene bag, and then she can bag the items. Oh, Madam Bra. So you're getting 10 CDs
for the green plantain. I'm 10 cedis.
So how many pieces is it?
I think 6.
Actually.
Is
it
6? 7, yes. Yeah, 7.
Send one tea when you my
to me,
So how many pieces for the green plantain?
7.
7 pieces. Can you lift them so we get to see the small ones? So the small ones, 7 pieces. We got this for 10 cedis. Right. How much typically would you buy them?
It's going to be 5 cedis or less.
The same thing.
It's the same thing. So the plantain, you say the price?
It's a little bit grown. So it's okay. It's cool.
Okay. So you wouldn't say there's been an increase in the prices of plantain. So the plantain is fine. Okay, great. So we'll try the ripe plantain. And we also get to find out what it is like, what the prices are like. When we get to find out the prices of the ripe plantain, the Kofi Brookman sellers at Lagos Avenue at East Legon, please, we're coming after you.
Yes.
Because if we're able to buy, if we know the price, then we can estimate how much you should be selling your Kofi Brookman to us. So we'll come to you in a bit and get to find out. All right, so let's move to the ripe plantain. We're going to buy some ripe plantain. So typically, as it is, once you buy, the head porter is with you. You just put the stuff you've bought in the pan, and then you go on. That way, it frees you. And you're also offering, some employment to the head porter. If you want to carry it all by yourself, then you are being a little chisel. Let's spread a bit of the money. But head porter, you're frozen. Kaya you? You're frozen. Aisha. Ube charge and saying. Ube charge and saying. Unim say na ube charge. Usually, I would want to negotiate with her before she carries it. That when we get to the end, she doesn't tell me she's going to charge me 10 cedis. And I don't have 10 cedis to pay you. Okay, so, madam, me fi JoyNews, me ni omo ena ye share prices no. Eni amane bo se ne yetie. Enti say won mind say the camera no beto so. Enti okay, enti untumi nton e mai. Okay, so well, she's nicer. to us at least. So let's go get something else and then we can come back for the ripe plantain. Okay, so the next thing they're looking for is the yam. Okay, so they've decided to buy the ripe plantain from here.
Good morning.
Morning, madam. Yeah, no, I can see no. Enum 10 cedi. Pacha can see pa enum 10 cedis.
So they say the very big ones, 5 for 10 cedis.
I can see enum 10 cedis. And I get one so me and son and 9. And enum also 5 cedis.
Naturally say I can see no.
I can see 5.
Makuma 5.
5.
And I 10 cedis. And I get one
so it be a 4. It be a 3.
And no 5 cedis.
5 cedis.
Seven of my and that's Bibi Sakrana.
Me packers here. Ain't no better summer.
I ain't in the Mattis farm. Now, some minutes on the Koya Duman, dear. Mashamo. Now, so the year Duman.
Okay. And you met I can see no 10 cedis.
Okay, so it looks like she's going to get a nice deal from the plantain. So how many pieces are those? All right, so she's making it 6 for 10 cedis. Oh, it's 6, I checked. And I'll bet so back one my into you there. Okay, nice. So we got 7 pieces. And well, yeah, that typically that's what I do when I used to go to the market and to buy for my mom. I'd always ask that I get something extra on top of it. So it worked. I guess because we're also we're having the camera with us. She wanted to be nice. Madam, your friend saying, Ama, Abba, that's it. So yeah, we got 7 pieces for 10 cedis. So if we getting 7 pieces of plantain for 10 cedis, the women or the traders, the people who are selling Kofi Brookman at East Legon, we've got 7 pieces for 10 cedis. So you have to be nice to us. Yes, we know you have to buy charcoal. You have to put your profit on it. But ideally, you should be able to give it to us at a more reasonable price. All right, so we're looking for yam. We're looking for yam now to also get to see what the situation is. So, Abigail, for the plantain, the ripe plantain, does it mean what would you see of the prices?
They are cool as the green plantain. They are very, very affordable. Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't say there's been an increase in the price.
No. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so plantain, the prices are moderate. There are no complaints about it. So this lady is pointing us to where we can get yam. Oh, there's yam here. Okay. Bayera. Yeah, to Bayere. So it's all stuck somewhere in there.
Bayera is saying. You're 8 and a 7. Bit me yam mama shape 8 and 7 there.
So she says they have some that's going for 7, they have some that's going for 8 cedis.
Nina epona. I'm the corner media out in say a pona ede. Then I 7, then I 8.
Right, so we want to see what the 8 CD yam, tuber of yam also looks like. So she's going to bring some out, then we can get to see.
8 and 7,
the same, you know.
So we're the same price compare 7 and 8 in the.
And I'm the tasting my price no.
Say dear son, near the 8, dear also kaka near the 7. Sana ya pacho
Me pay 8 yen, what the mama is 7. And me pay Cassiano. But I'm sick of 7 studies. Anything come would be 8 yen, I'm 7 studies. Wait me there, mommy.
Okay, but ideally, if you look at it, it doesn't look like there's much difference in the sizes.
No. Different. There's not.
What's that?
The same thing.
I said, yes, you see how crowd, Nana.
And wakataso. It's no, and apart for your day, Mom Baba Fako, and apart Hakochi. So, Moba, no me ye dear mom, not the Everton, Yakaneaton, ye moaton.
Okay. So, why don't you? I would want to go in there. If she's going to give me the 8 CDs for 7 CDs, okay. I'll go in there and look for a big 8 CDs. Okay. So
I want a big one.
Yeah, so look through and pick one that is big enough. If she's giving you a deal, you must get a good deal.
Yeah. Wait there. I said, we see a pona ni bia. Wait there, pona o. Eh. When the muye de. Eh.
Okay. It's become difficult for you to choose, it looks like.
Me too. Say we not 8 is what am 7 cities so. Okay. Okay. Mama sure we say as more do pa.
Okay. So she's found one that she thinks it's big enough. But can you imagine ideally if we had a market where we're using scales, then you can weigh it, you put it on the scale, and then you can say, yes, this one is heavier, which means it's bigger, so you're prepared to pay a bit more for it. But as it is, she's looking at the sizes, and the sizes, you can't quite be sure. It's not a standard way of measuring. That's why the Ghana Standards Authority has been trying to push the use of scales for some time now. It hasn't quite taken off because I'm yet to see one scale in this entire market. Maybe the people who use the scale will be the butchers because they tend to do that. All right.
But on say first no, aka barrier ba bon say ya boaboa nkete for 10 cedis. And na say no, o ma boaboa no akese for 20 cedis. Yeah, say be she na ni o sa, but say no mo boa no akese kakra for 20 cedis. Say sa no.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so we're picking the yam, and then we'll move on to another place and get some other items. But yeah, we're at the Malamata Market if you're just joining us, and we're just going around to get to find out what the situation is like. Now, one good thing about this exercise is that Mr. Yeboah can confirm whether the wife is using the money judiciously or whether the wife is following chobo, where she will claim so much money. So what? You give her regularly how much chop money?
Okay, most of that I give her 200.
For the shopping?
For the shopping, yes.
Most of the time, then you buy fewer things?
Few other things, and then when it come out, and then say the prices have gone up. So
you should add?
You should add more, yes.
Meanwhile, your salary too hasn't increased?
It hasn't increased. You see,
the salary always happens to suffer the stunted growth. The salary increases, everything else increases.
Yes, everything has been increased, but the salaries.
Okay.
They are stable.
Okay, all right. So let's move on. What are we going to get next?
We'll get the tomatoes and the beans.
Tomatoes and beans.
And that's Israel coming to us from the Malamata Market. And he's having a lot of fun with Mr. and Mrs. Yeboah. Mr. Yeboah followed Mrs. Yeboah to the market because he doesn't believe that she's bringing him legitimate prices. So she's always come to ask for more money. Charlie, wives, they suffer. Can you imagine this Monday morning, your husband is following you to the market? Unnecessary stress. Anyway, let me wrap up with our guests who have been so kind to stay with us on Zoom. Anthony Morrison, CEO, Chamber of Agribusiness, Mr. Edward Karowe, and of course, Mr. Charles Nyaba. Gentlemen, can I just have your closing comments? What are we to look forward to the rest of the year? Christmas is coming. You know, we want to be able to get our chickens, our eggs, our goats, all of that. Are we going to have a good Christmas? Or are we going to have to be watching our pockets and cutting our meat a little bit smaller so that everybody in the family can get some food? Let me start with you, Edward.
Well, we should expect that things will not be good. We should save more towards Christmas because prices will still remain high. And once it's Christmas, no matter what, it's about 1 day, 2 days, or 1 week. At least we can still enjoy ourselves when we save towards it. But we shouldn't expect prices to fall so much, even if they will fall at all, because around that time there will also be harvesting. The harvest would have taken place. So we expect that prices will stabilize a little or even come down. But if it does not, certainly Christmas will be very difficult.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Mr. Edward Karowe, General Secretary, General Agri Workers Union. Let me also ask Mr. Anthony Morrison, what can we expect for Christmas this year? Hello, Anthony.
Yes, hello.
Yes, okay, so what kind of Christmas can we expect this year?
Well, I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but it's going to be a very difficult Christmas because production on the side of farmers have not changed. We haven't seen government bringing in any agriculture intervention policies. So prices and challenges are still going to be the same. We are going to buy our poultry products at a much higher price. A crate of eggs will be selling about 30 Ghana cedis or more.
Wow.
A bed of a layer or the hard chicken we'll be buying, we're going to go up between 55 to 65 Ghana cedis. So we shouldn't expect a rosary or a merry all Christmas as we used to. It's going to be a challenging environment. Let me end that the challenges we are seeing are all as a result of the policy non-alignment and the way we also deploy agriculture in the country is not the best. At the district level, MOFA doesn't have a role to play, no direct role. The regional coordinating council are all over the place, and we need to find a more strategic way to address the challenges. And this is where we need to start looking at having the Agriculture Development Authority, which is a trade regulator, rather than a policy and implementation ministry. Now, all the challenges we are having are so strong. They are with us. The ministry is kind of powerless. So, and that also borders on the kind of policy we are running as a country. Our agriculture sector policy over the past 4 years hasn't been the best. Planting for food and jobs has not been very successful. We need to find a way to mitigate the current hardships of farmers, and it's very critical. The minister has to sit up. I'm not missing my words this morning. I receive a lot of calls, and I know what I'm talking about. The minister has to sit up. If something is not done in the next 2 months, Ghana will surely have a food shortage crisis at hand. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Mr. Anthony Morrison. Very worrying there that if something is not done, Ghana will definitely have a food shortage crisis in the next few months. We'll keep our eyes on this and maybe get a response from the minister on what the government is doing to make sure that we have enough food on our tables over the next few months. But Something exciting happened over the weekend. The Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair got off to an absolutely exciting start at the Achimota Retail Center. Now remember that this event is your one-stop solution center for all things housing, with partners exhibiting products that provide solution to all housing needs. Patrons found tailor-made solutions for their housing needs and had a fantastic time. Here's Kweku Asante's wrap of the event. So before we bring you that, though, when we come back, we'll be hosting one of our partners, DBS.
Welcome to the Achimota Retail Center, where a number of exhibitors are showing their wares, the kind of solutions they have to all your housing needs. This is the first of 3 mini clinics to be held as a build-up to this year's JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair. The fair is your one-stop shop solution to everything housing. Hundreds of excited patrons thronged the exhibition center to interact with various exhibitors on their products and the exciting offers they have.
It's giving us the publicity. It helps us promote our business and our brand. And it's people keep on, coming in and out just because of they heard us from multimedia or they watched our videos online. So it's been encouraging, and I think it's been good.
That is an agent of Elegant Homes, one of the exhibitors for this year's Habitat Fair. But they are not the only ones showing you what they have. A number of established brands have mind-blowing offers for you.
The condition is that you have to pay 20% of the total cost of the building, then you move into it. Then the remaining 80% is spread over 20 years for you to pay. So we actually give you about 25 years to pay.
Okay, Plus Limited is the top manufacturing company in terms of pipes in Ghana as of now. We supply and produce PVC pipes, water tank, and we have new products in town like the CD wash, drawer blocks, the septic tanks. As you can see, a lot of things here. If you are building any project you want to do, you can just contact us. We'll be at your service.
Joseph Achu is one of the numerous patrons who thronged the Achimota Retail Center for solutions to their various housing needs. Like some Ghanaians, he has suffered the ordeal of buying a land that had already been sold to others.
I'm looking for affordable land or house, and then how the prices are, and see the terms and conditions for payments. At least if somebody that I'm starting life afresh, I can own a land or a house and then also pay in a bit way that it will not be that difficult for me. So that at the end, I will see that I'm owning my own house. Yes, so that's the reason why I'm here. You end up buying a land that has been sold to somebody else. And when it happens like that, you either lose your money or you lose your life, because you get to the land, you see somebody who claim ownership of that land, and it becomes a challenge. Even to get to know the people, the land to you, right owner of the land, is also another challenge.
He came to the JoyNews Ecobank Habitat Fair mini clinic to find solutions to this challenge that has bedeviled the land tenure system.
So if JoyNews and Joy Habitat Fair is happening, I think it's the best way everybody can own a land or a house for himself or herself.
The planned city extension project was right on hand to offer him a solution. Among the several mouth-watering packages provided by exhibitors included the 10% discount provided by DBS.
When you are coming through this habitat, you already have 10% discount, discount voucher, and come to our office so that we can further business in regards to payment and production for our customers. And aside that, we have other profiles which we are also making a lot of noise on the media, which has to do with our ready-mix concrete and our blocks. The blocks, we have the engineering blocks, we have the hollow blocks, and we have the concrete blocks. Per the measurement, we have the 5 inches and we have the 6 inches as well.
All right. So, in terms of the Habitat Fair, what kind of opportunities has this afforded you to be able to reach out to potential customers?
I think looking at the Habitat Fair, we have made a lot of contacts. What we are hoping for is all these contacts that we have made will generate into a very good sales for DBS.
Ecobank also introduced patrons to its pension-backed mortgage.
There's a budget, or there's a home for every budget. So we have our Ecobank home ownership mortgage, where we finance you to get your own home. We have what we call a pension-backed mortgage, where if you have your tier 2 and tier 3 with a value of 20% or more of the property you intend purchasing, we can also use that as security and finance your mortgage 100%.
A number of patrons were also excited about the offers on hand.
Anything housing related.
Right.
Yes.
And so, how did you hear about the Habitat Fair?
I tuned into Joy FM and listened to a program, and it was advertised, so I decided to come through.
Right, so you look at the kind of products that we have on offer. Do you think it's able to satisfy your needs?
Well, I just started, and I mean, so far so good. So I'm hoping that by the time I end, I'll be fulfilled.
So with this housing fair, it is very important because we are bringing very key stakeholders. These are people who are into the business. They understand how the housing deficit is. So they can collaborate with all stakeholders to ensure that houses are being built for people which are less costly, and in that process we are bringing down the housing deficit.
If you are renting, your dream is to also own a home one day. So as a result, we decided to come and then find out what are the options available, and if we can fall within any of the options and make a choice.
So how has it been so far? Have you liked the things you've seen?
Oh, so far, yeah. So far, so good.
Meanwhile, the exhibitors have expressed delight about the opportunity the JoyNews Habitat Fair has offered them to provide solutions to patrons and their housing needs.
Taking Joy Habitat Fair is a great platform for us to be able to market our products and to reach out to millions of consumers outside there. Yeah.
This is our second year with the Joy Habitat Fair. We were here last year and it was amazing. Through the Habitat Fair, we were able to reach as many people as possible. We registered more than 100 clients last year, and we have them on board, and we are still going on with them. So I think this thing that JoyNews is doing, it is an amazing thing. It gives us the opportunity to meet as many Ghanaians as possible, share our projects with them, and they have also been very welcoming.
So the second day of the JoyNews Habitat Fair, the mini clinic is here at the Chimota Retail Center. It's been 2 days of exciting offers for patrons as exhibitors have been showing the kind of solutions they have for your various housing needs. If you missed out on this mini clinic that was held here at the Chimota Retail Center, you've missed out, but you've not lost out completely, as we have 2 other mini clinics at the Junction Mall and also at the West Hills Mall before the main Habitat Fair happens at the end of October at the Accra International Conference Center. So you can still go out there and look at the various offers that have on display. The exhibitors have been telling us the beautiful and exciting offers they have, including DBS announcing a 10% discount for everyone that makes any purchase through the Habitat Fair clinics. And so it's important for people who've missed out on this to look out for the other mini clinics and also to prepare for the main event that will happen between 27th and 31st October this year at the Accra International Conference Center. Of course, you can rest assured that the Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair is your one-stop center for all housing needs. And you can get the best for yourself and for your family to be able to live in your dream home. From the Achimota Retail Center, my name is Kweku Asante for JoyNews.
Well, thank you, Kweku, for that. And Mr. James Kwao-Senu is joining me this morning. He's the Sales and Marketing Manager for DBS. Good morning and welcome to the AM show.
Good morning.
Okay, so what's your experience like? Because you were there this past weekend.
Sure.
Did you have a good time?
Before then, I just want to say good morning to all viewers and all our cherished customers and all potential customers who were at the Habitat Fair this weekend.
Okay. Good morning to you guys. Okay. So did you have a good time?
I think we had a great time at the Habitat Fair. We had an ample time to communicate with customers. From afar, most customers think DBS is very expensive, but we come in.
Let's clarify first before we continue. So DBS is DBS roofing?
Yes, DBS, we are into roofing, into steel trusses, and we have a new profile which has to do with the ready-mix concrete and blocks.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify for our listeners because you're just saying DBS and they may not be, sure. So most people think that when you talk about DBS and the roofing and the pre-mixed concrete and all of that, that is very expensive.
Sure. So per our survey we gathered on the ground just last weekend, we realized that most people thought we were very expensive because we were dealing with multimedia. But since we had ample time explaining our prices and our quality materials to them, I think it also gave them a comfort to decide to roof with DBS. Aside that, we made so much good contact. We made so much good contact. We had the time to talk to most classic people, and we hope all those contacts we have made will be converted into a cash sales.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you met a lot of people. People were able to clarify when it came to prices and all of those things. And so you'll be at the next one as well, won't you?
Yes, please. We'll be at the next clinic just this weekend at the West Hills Mall.
Okay, are you looking forward to it?
Oh, very well.
Really?
And we are ready for it.
You're ready for it, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to just run us through some of your popular products, the things that most people were interested in?
So DBS is a one-stop shop house, and we are one of the leading manufacturers in light gauge trusses, roofing sheets, roofing accessories, and we have a new product which has to do with the blocks and the ready-mix concrete. So let's start with the profiles. For the sheets, we have the MSL, which is the self-lock material. We have the IBL, which is the embedded box rib. We have the IDT, which is the industrial groove trough. We have shingles, we have Eurotiles, and we have aluminium as well. For the products, which has to do with our concrete products, we have introduced blocks, whereby we have the Supreme solid blocks. We have it in solid and we have it in hollow. We also have concrete blocks, which you can have in 5 inches and 6 inches, and we have the pavement blocks as well. Talking of concrete, we have a batching plant at Clagon, whereby we are into ready-mix concrete. So what I urge the industry to do is when you need an estimate, just come with your specification and let's know the volumes that you want. When payment is done, we'll do a delivery at your site.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Sure.
That sounds really good. So when people come to the mini clinic, where can they find you? How do they find you? And then for those who may not be able to come, but want to be able to get in touch and get in contact with you, how do they do that?
So they can easily reach us on the Sprinters Road. If you are driving from the Accra Retail Center, we are before Papaye Road. So they can reach us on 0240 844444, 0240 844444. We are in Kumasi. You can reach us on 050 600 4141, 050 600 4141. And in Takrady, you can also reach us on 050 600 4242.
Okay. Well, you've always been part of the Habitat Fair. What's your experience just before you go? I mean, what has the experience been like? And have you found it useful, joining us to do this?
Very well. I think the experience has been good, and it has given us a lot of exposure in regards to the construction industry.
So for you, it's been a good thing?
Yes.
Over the years?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, that sounds good. So this weekend, what can we expect?
So this weekend, we should expect more from DBS. We will be on board with our samples materials, our concrete products, and sampled blocks, and also be expecting this time it's 10% discount with DBS branded souvenirs this time.
Nice. Okay, nice. That sounds really good. I'll come and find you when we come there. So I've been talking to Mr. James Senu. He's a sales and marketing manager for DBS. And remember that you can catch the second mini clinic this weekend at the West Hills Mall, Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And when you get there, you know, slide over to DBS, you know, and have a look at what they have. And like Mr. Senu said, you know, it's not that expensive. It's not as expensive as you think it is. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, too.
This morning. Thank you. So it's the 12th edition of the Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair, powered by the planned city extension projects from cities and habitats. Now, the fair is under the theme Home Ownership, to build or to buy. Join us at the West Hills Mall for the second mini clinic. It's this Saturday, 18th, and Sunday, the 19th of September. It starts from 8 a.m. and ends at 8 p.m. The third mini clinic will come off at the Junction Mall from Saturday the 2nd to Sunday the 3rd October 2021. If you'd like to know more, please call 054-690-8179 or 054-011-0389. The Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair is, of course, in partnership with Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank, and is powered by the Planned City Extension Projects by Cities and Habitats, Rent to Own, and sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Construction, where quality meets value. DBS Industries Limited, we truly are your roof experts. Renters Paradise, we help people and properties find each other. Ecobank JoyNews Habitat Fair, everything housing. So that's that conversation, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, of course, we have so much more for you. And IB as well will be bringing us showbiz news. Don't go anywhere.
So let's start off with gospel act Joe Metal, who has been talking about trolls. I don't know if you have ever trolled any celebrity before or even a friend. Well, one thing you should know is it has rippling effects. They don't take it lightly. It becomes a heavy burden on them, how they deal with them. Well, this was Joe Metal in the studios of Hits 103.9 on Daybreak Hits with Andy Dorsey. And he was talking about how some trolls have affected him and how he is able to deal with them. Be it good or bad, he has to take it anyways because he's in a space where he is always expecting stuff like that.
The last time I had like a really nice conversation with Don. We had, you know, especially with the family ones. I'm like, Charlie, we'll be like, you see, say me and me, like me, I'm in this, so I understand how these things, you know. But then you punch like Obiba JK. Like now, I'm punching aside. Sometimes it's a lot, and especially when you put all those things down and you realize, first of all, when the person says it and realizes it's not true, they never fix it. They just leave it there. So one time I was sharing with someone, we went somewhere to play a gig, and then when they typed the person's name, like the kind of stuff that came up, they were like, then they started giving excuses. Even me, it's happened to me before. There was an event like that. And then that time there were rumors of things of my family. And the people, based on some of these rumors, they started giving excuses. They didn't say no, but they didn't come back.
Have you listened to the likes of Lutrot on you before?
Who?
Lutrot.
Lutrot.
Yeah,
no, that's why I'm generalizing everything.
Sometimes he takes a dig at you. Sometimes. Yeah.
He says what?
Or he take a dig at you a couple of times.
Okay. Oh, no, okay. So, but what I'm trying to say is, the same way we sometimes expect our people to go and we now jab them like that, we drag them sometimes, but we don't realize we see them as showbiz, and then you come back and then say on Kobedia, like where we expect the person to, but there are lots of these things that actually contribute to the drag of some of these people.
And that was Joe Metal in that conversation on Daybreak Hits, which happens to be the morning show on Hits 103.9 FM. So yesterday, It was supposed to be a wrap-up for Roverman and Uncle White on The Devil's Wife, but it is going to be extended for 2 more weeks. It's because a lot of people were excited. A lot of people have to be turned back because they didn't get the ticket and they were come to buy the ticket at the entrance. Well, this is how Uncle together with the Roverman left people so excited and wanted more at the viewing of The Devil's Wife.
It was fantastic and great. I really loved it.
Hi, how are you doing?
Bye.
You look like you really had a lot of fun.
I did.
Okay, so it was a good show for you.
It was a really terrific show for me.
So how was the whole play for you?
Oh, it was lovely.
You loved it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Anything aligned to that?
Well, I guess we have to be careful with the things we buy and, you know, life in general, okay? We have to sort of like have our trust in God, okay? No matter the situation and what not we're going through, I believe we need to trust in God, and at the end, He'll see us through.
Is it trusting God for you, what you learned from the play?
Oh, yeah. We learned a lot, yeah.
And how about you?
Yeah, I also learned the same thing. It was fun.
Okay, what are some of the peak times for you on the show?
I think for me it was the fight between the devil and then the angels. That was nice.
Okay. And you?
Personally, I think it was the whole thing.
Moral lessons learned?
Well, we have to trust in God always. For instance, when the woman felt pressured to get babies, yeah, I mean, she should have just waited on the Lord. The Lord would have done it for her.
Sure. I really enjoyed the show, and I wish Uncle Ebo comes out with a lot of shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know that Uncle Ebo never disappoints. Is this your first Ebo White show?
No, this is my 3rd show.
What have you learned anything from that? Are you taking anything away from the show?
Yes, exactly. Because I feel that in every situation that we encounter, we need to have faith in God and trust that God is our shield and He will protect us in all situations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it was.
No, don't go away. How was it?
It was very amazing. Very lovely. Yes, it was
very good. It was very good. The crew was good. Everything was fine. Everything. Yeah.
Is this your first for an Ebo White show?
Yes. For me, it's the first time.
And you?
Second time.
Where have you been in this world?
I've been here, but this was amazing. It was really, yes, it was good.
So you were utterly surprised, right?
Yes.
Were you also surprised?
Yes.
How fun was it for you on stage?
Very exciting as usual. Last week I went for a program that I got so disappointed. I've been looking forward to this one to relieve me of the disappointment. And I'm glad I came.
Oh, you're glad you came?
Yes, I'm a patron, so I always don't miss it.
So it's not your first time?
I've been a patron for so many years, so I'm always at the shows. Okay. I don't miss.
And you? Is it your first time?
Yes, my first time.
Where have you been on this earth?
Working, schooling, I guess.
So, but how was it? Any moral lessons learned over there?
It was exciting, really. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yes.
Okay. So are you taking anything home?
Yes, a lot.
What?
About my Christian life, my faith. Yeah, it was wholesome. It had so many lessons to be learned.
Plenty years ago, did you play the character of the pastor in this particular?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You wrote it, right?
Yes, I did.
Why did you choose that particular character to play?
I wanted the heaviest. It's the heaviest character. It's the heaviest role to play, and normally you need to set a good example to the cast you are working with. Okay. So when they see you carrying a heavier burden and carrying it well, then they have to carry their little burdens but well, as well, because they can see your example. And so that is what happened then.
Well, if you missed out on the excitement, please don't worry. It is not all over. There are 2 more weeks that you'll be having the time to be in the comfort of National Theatre to watch Devil's Wife. And that was Uncle Ebo White there, who 30 years when he wrote this particular play, he played the pastor And he was telling you why he played it. Well, that is all for Edge for Showbiz now. On the AM show, I will leave it for anyone to wrap it up on the show. But hey, keep your channel logged here. We are going to make you love watching us.